Abyss is one of my all-time favorite decks. You could say that I have a burning passion for the strategy. And just so ironically, Burning Abyss happens to be one of the best strategies in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game right now. Even though we don't have the new Burning Abyss link, it would be a divine comedy. You would be a fool not to invest or to have a deck as powerful as Burning Abyss, being able to escape the ban list for almost 4 years going on 5. I'm TheCaliEffect, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, then go and destroy that subscribe button. But more importantly, go ahead and that notification bell because, well, we just too strong, and we won 3 in a row, baby. I want to give a special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Without you guys, videos like this would not be possible. Also, shout out to our newest top dog, Julio Perez, man. Welcome to the clan. I hope you do enjoy your stay. Without further ado, I present to you a competitive Burning Abyss deck profile for this format. And yes, this is one of the best decks of the format. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so before we go into the stats, I actually want to say that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I'm going to be bringing awareness to breast cancer by playing on this lilac mat, or, you know, having this lilac mat for this specific deck profile. But getting into the stats, Burning Abyss is a tier 1 deck, hands down. The Goki matchup, you play loads of hand traps to actually stop every single one of their combos plus their extenders. Also making Topologic Gumblar Dragon doesn't hurt you as much as it would hurt the other decks. Against Trickstar, well, you summon monsters that are just bigger than theirs, and they always have a problem with that. You combine that with the fact that you have at least 6 monsters in almost any given Burning Abyss deck that is just bigger than theirs and provides disruption. They have a problem. Against one of your more favorite matchups, Sky Striker, this deck makes Beatrice, which is a disruptor in itself, as well as preventing it from going onto your opponent's side of the field. And then on top of that, it can make Boral Sword Dragon for the OTK. So this deck has almost every tier 1 deck basis covered. I think the only problem with it is that it is very monster reliant. So once people start playing Abyss Dweller, you might have a problem, but until then, stick to what is good. On to the monsters. We run quite a few Burning Abyss. We're going to start off with 3 copies of Scar, Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. Now, Burning Abyss all have 1 clause inside. All the main monster Burning Abyss have 1 clause. You can special summon these monsters to your side of the field if you control no spell and trap cards in your spell and trap card zone. Seeing that I play 37 monsters, the odds of me having a spell or trap card in my spell and trap card zone are low. The only drawback of using that effect is that if you use that effect, you cannot gain the Burning Abyss other monsters effects. So for example, Skarm has the ability that when it's sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Dark Fiend level 3 monster from your deck to your hand. If you use this effect to special summon itself, you cannot gain the effect to search from your deck to your hand during the end phase in the same turn. Next is 3 copies of Farfa, Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. This card is probably the reason why the deck is so good. When it is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 monster on the field. Now it's really good in case you want your Beatrice out of your extra monster zone, or just providing disruption to your opponent, banishing monsters on their main monster zone so they can't use the card until the end of the turn. It's a very powerful card. 1 copy of Libic, Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. This is actually a really good card, but I decided to drop it down to 1. I was running 2, but it just doesn't come up as much as you would hope. When it is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from your hand to your side of the field, but its effects are negated. Now, Burning Abyss monsters do have an effect that if you control a non-Burning Abyss monster, they are immediately destroyed. That's right, but if you can negate the Burning Abyss monster's effects, then you're perfectly fine. Since they're not conditions, they're just effects. Libic does provide you a free Burning Abyss monster to your side of the field and negates its effects, so it won't be destroyed, but it actually doesn't come up as often as you would think. 1 copy of Barbar, Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. This card is actually really powerful as well. When he sits in the graveyard, you can banish up to 3 Burning Abyss. Is it monsters or cards? I think it's cards. You can banish 3 Burning Abyss cards from your graveyard to inflict 300 damage per card. Now, this card is excellent in time. If you want to get your opponent down to as little life points as possible, send Barbar to your graveyard, banish some cards, inflict 900 damage. It also works for Orbital Hydrolander because in order for us to summon it, we have to have monsters with different names, and Barbar can banish those excess Burning Abyss monsters to get it to your side of the field. 1 copy of Calcab. This card actually bounces the spells and traps. This is the one that bounces the spells and traps when it's sent to the graveyard. It's a pretty decent card for getting rid of disrupting your opponent's back row. Sometimes you use it to get rid of those Sky Striker back row cards against True Draco. You get rid of those. You can get rid of Altergeist back row cards before they start to pop off. Next is 1 copy of Alec. This is a guy that I actually wanted to bump up to more than 1 copy because he's just a really powerful card. So when he's sent to the graveyard, you can target a monster on the field and negate its effects. Now, the reason why this is so good is because against the Sky Striker matchup, they want to take control of your Beatrice through Widow Anchor. But if you send Alec to the graveyard to negate your Beatrice, your opponent can't take your Beatrice. They have to actually negate the monster to take the monster. So you're negating your own Beatrice with your Alec, and then they can't take it, which means they're in a pretty bad spot. The card has a pretty nice defense at 2800, and you can probably make another play to disrupt them on the following turn. Next is one copy of Seer the Pig. This guy is really good. When he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Burning Abyss monster from your graveyard to your side of the field. This plus Dante will ensure that you always have an infinite loop of monsters on your side of the field. One copy of Graph. When it's sent to the graveyard, you special summon any Burning Abyss monster from your deck to your side of the field. It's a perfect extender, and it's really useful for a combo. And then lastly, not necessarily Burning Abyss monsters, but honorable Burning Abyss monsters. Two copies of Fiendish Warrior Rhino. Now, or Rhino Warrior. This card's really good because while he's on the field, your warrior type, or I'm sorry, your Fiend monsters can't be destroyed. So you summon them, you can summon any Burning Abyss monster and they won't be destroyed. Now the bad thing about this is that cards like Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence are running around. So you can start off with Fiendish Rhino Warrior and then you summon a Burning Abyss monster. Your opponent will then probably Infinite Impermanence the Rhino Warrior or Effect Veiler the Rhino Warrior. You lose all your Burning Abyss monsters. So that's pretty bad. But he's a really good card. He's an honorary Burning Abyss because you can summon him with other Burning Abyss. And when he sends to the graveyard, you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to your graveyard. So he does have applications of that. I think that 3 isn't the greatest thing right now, but I think 2 is a very solid number. Lastly is our last honorary Burning Abyss, Tour Guide of the Underworld. Special summoning a level 3 Fiend monster from your deck to your side of the field for free, but negating its effects. So it's a very powerful card for getting out free Dantes to your side of the field. That is it for all of the Burning Abyss monsters, quote unquote. For our boss monsters, we play 6. I play 3 copies of Orbital Hydrolander. Actually play 7. I have a secret surprise tech card and 3 copies of Black Luster Soldier. So you guys saw me play Orbital Hydrolander before it was big inside of our last Burning Abyss deck, and I'm just gonna reiterate why Orbital Hydrolander is so good. So basically, you can only special summon this monster by having exactly 5 monsters with different names, or at least 5 monsters with different names in your graveyard. It is a free 3000 attack behemoth. Furthermore, he can send cards from the deck to the graveyard. And if all of the monsters in your graveyard at resolution are still different names, you can destroy 1 card on the field. This guy is a complete blowout. 3000 beater, instant destruction. And what's even great about it, even better about his effect, is that he does check at the resolution, but you can chain cards like Fairy Tale Snow to manipulate your graveyard so you can always have monsters with different names in your graveyard to either summon him or to gain his effects. Black Luster Soldier at 3, I just couldn't play anything less than 3. It's a complete blowout. It's a card that also allows you to manage your graveyard by banishing a light and dark monster that combos really well with Orbital Hydrolander. I actually have a live game with this deck against Danger Dark World. I'm telling you guys, it is spicy. Go ahead and destroy that like button and let me know down below in the comment section that you guys want to see that game. Next is actually a secret saucy tech, 1 copy of Dark Arm Dragon, and through my playing of this deck, this is just another boss monster. It can only be special summoned by controlling exactly 3 dark monsters in your graveyard, which is not hard to do. Like at the top of my head, I was like, God, that has to be hard. But once you start getting Fairy Tale Snow to pop off and stuff, no, it's not hard at all. Having exactly 3 dark monsters in your graveyard is relatively easy. Once it's summoned, you can banish a dark monster to destroy a card on your side of the field. It's just another amazing monster that I feel that's just really good in Burning Abyss. Very tacky and really good. If you guys don't like the Dark Arm Dragon or the Black Luster Soldiers, like the boss monster package, I would actually recommend, if you guys don't like any copies of these or you want to drop some copies, Kaijus are really good cards, especially since there's 2 light Kaijus. You could play those as well. The next, we play a whole bunch of extenders, so 3 copies of Destiny or Malicious. This card is an extender in its own right. You send it to the graveyard, or you get 1 to the graveyard through your Nightmare monsters or by milling it, and then you start using it to link off into your Nightmare monsters or whatever you need to Boral Sword Dragon. It is a godly awesome card. 1 copy of Fairy Tale Snow, another extender, and the reason why the deck is so powerful, because you can manipulate your graveyard by banishing monsters or cards in your graveyard, field, or hand to your side, to special summon this card to your side of the field, and then flip a card on your opponent's side of the field, monster on your opponent's side of the field, face down. Really good for disruption. 1 copy of Fabled Solkius. This card's actually a lot better. You can send it to the graveyard with Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Also, by discarding cards from your hand, you can summon them to your side of the field. So he's free link food. He's just a very powerful card in himself. I don't think he's necessarily mandatory, but he's really good. That's it for all of extenders. The rest we play are hand traps. So 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of Ghost Ogre, 2 copies of Ghost Bell, 2 copies of Ash Blossom, and 2 copies of Effect Veiler. In this particular deck, I didn't want to run 3 of any hand trap, mainly because I do run Orbital Hydrolander, and I want to be very picky on what cards that I run in 3s. Yes, I run 3 Blackluster Soldier, 3 Orbital Hydrolander, 3 Skarm, 3 Farfa, and 3 Destiny Hero Malicious, but a lot of those guys can take care of themselves. BLS can banish other BLSs, or Orbital Hydrolanders. Burning Abyss monsters can be banished by Barbar. It's just so many ways to get rid of those. These guys are a little harder unless you have Fairy Tail Slow, and you run quite a few of them. So I think the hand traps are very relevant in this card game. Droll and Lockbird being the best, Ogre being really good to stop Firewall, Ghost Bell being an underrated spell or hand trap, really good at disrupting your opponent's graveyard plays, Ash Blossom being able to stop your opponent, and Effect Veiler being powerful. What makes this deck so powerful is that all of these hand traps are very viable into the Yu-Gi-Oh right now, in this Yu-Gi-Oh format right now. And then lastly, we play 3 spell cards, Sekka's Light. This is Pot of Greed, plus it allows you to shuffle monsters or monsters in your hand to your deck to draw an additional card. That's it for the main board. For the extra deck, 2 copies of Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. I still haven't needed more than 2. I want to play 3, but I just don't need more than 2. Beatrice, you make this on top of your Dante and you win games. It's an exciting card. It's awesome. It has disruption and it gets you so much advantage. When Dante sends to the graveyard, you can add a Burning Abyss monster from your graveyard to your hand. Beatrice can put that monster to the graveyard, and it can also be XE summoned by discarding 1 Burning Abyss monster from your hand and placing it on top of a Dante monster. 1 copy of Dante, Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss. This guy is actually special summoned when Beatrice gets destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And it has some really good effects. It can't be targeted, and you can discard a Burning Abyss monster, trigger a Burning Abyss monster's effect potentially, and draw a card. 1 copy of the Phantom Knight's Breaksword. Really powerful card for spot removal. DDD Stone King Darius. This card's actually good for getting over Borlo Dragon. This deck actually has a hard time getting over monsters like Borlo because it can't be targeted. It's really high attack. 1 copy of Borlo Dragon ourselves. In case we can't make this, you just use Borlo to take their Borlo. Borlo Sword is your game-ending card. You're going to be making this card a lot inside of this deck. Nightmare Unicorn is good spot removal. I still think Deco Talker is one of the best link 3s, especially in this deck, when you can tribute monsters like Dante to negate the activation of your opponent's targeting, or just prevent your opponent from targeting your cards. It's also good in the mirror match because Fairy Tail Snow is a card. 1 copy of Chopologic Transbana. We play no spells and traps, so getting rid of our opponent's spells and traps will be pretty easy with this card. 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 2 Nightmare Phoenix, and Underclock Taker. That is it for the main board and the extra deck. Sideboard, it'll be pretty standard. The only card that I think that you guys might want to look into is Vanity's Fiend or Majesty's Fiend or Vanity's Fiend. Those cards are really good for this deck because it prevents the opponents from special summoning, or it can prevent monster effects. Both of them are extremely powerful. But let me show you guys a couple of combos I know you guys will love because, man, this deck, too strong. Alright guys, so there's one definite combo with the Burning Abyss strategy. It requires Fiendish Rhino Warrior, any 2 Burning Abyss monsters. Now this is your pretty much standard combo for any Burning Abyss deck, mainly because you're going to wind up with Underclock Taker and Beatrice on your side of the field. Coincidentally, you don't need Fiendish Warrior Rhino. Any 3 Burning Abyss monsters can get you just Beatrice to your side of the field, and that's still pretty powerful. What you are going to do is normal summon your Fiendish Warrior Rhino and use one of your Burning Abyss monsters to special summon it to the side of the field. Use both of those monsters for an Exceed summon to Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss, using its effect, detaching Fiendish Warrior Rhino to send 3 cards from your deck to the graveyard. Now your Fiendish Warrior Rhino's effect is going to trigger sending 1 monster, Graf Malbrink of the Burning Abyss, from your deck to your graveyard to special summon Seer to your side of the field. Seer has a unique property. When it's sent to the graveyard, it allows you to special summon a monster or Burning Abyss monster from your graveyard. We're going to do exactly that. You actually don't need this card, but use the Dante and the Seer for a link summon into your Underclock Taker. Now this is a 2-card combo because Seer is going to bring back the Dante, Dante is going to bring back the Seer, but I don't like discarding the Seer to make the Beatrice. So I'm going to go ahead and discard the other Burning Abyss monster to use the Dante to make Beatrice. That way you get to keep Seer in your hand for later turn plays to special summon back Dante, Traveler, or Burning Abyss to your side of the field. Again, this is a 2-card combo that can make the Beatrice, but the only problem is you're going to have to discard the Seer, which is a very powerful card in my opinion. I like to make it a 3-card combo because it's very easy to get another Burning Abyss monster to your hand. It's just, you know, you got to get rid of the Seer. That's it for the combos, really, guys. Now I'm going to show you guys a couple of test hands just to show you how powerful this deck can be. Alright, on to the test hand. I'm going to be showing you guys a couple of test hands. It's going to be really exciting to show you. I think that this deck is fairly consistent, so we can go through it and show you some really awesome combos of what I would do, mainly because there really isn't too many combos inside of this Burning Abyss deck. So we're going to be opening up with Effect Veiler, Calcab, Skarm, Libic, and a Fiendish Rhino Warrior. So as you guys can see, we've already opened the combo that we need, and I would do exactly that, normal summoning the Fiendish Warrior Rhino and special summoning the Libic to my side of the field, using both of these monsters for a link summon into my Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. Now Dante sending Fiendish Royal Rhino to the graveyard to send 3 cards from my deck to my graveyard, and we sent the pig. How does that happen? That's actually not good that we sent the pig, but it's actually a decent thing to happen because we can still do some other things. Like I'm gonna use the pig's effect to obviously special summon the Farfa, and then the Fiendish Royal Rhino to send from my deck to my graveyard. Graf's effect is going to trigger to summon, well, I don't need Skarm since I already have Skarm on my side of the field, but let's bring out any Burning Abyss monster that's not Alec. Let's bring out, where is that Burning Abyss monster? Sure, we'll just bring out Barbar. That'll actually work in our favor right now. So we have an interesting board because we can't make the Underclock Taker Beatrice and we can't follow up with another Dante. Actually, we can follow up with a different combo of our own. What we can do is use the Libic and the Barbar for a link summon. So we're going to use these 2 monsters for a link summon. Boom. That's going to summon the Underclock Taker to our side of the field. Dante's effect is going to activate. Libic's effect is going to activate. We're going to add the pig and special summon the Scar. And then we're going to use both of these monsters for a link summon into another Dante. So we've actually made this bad situation into a really good situation by sending the pig. We had enough monsters to overcome that particular situation. And then we'll send the Calcab to the graveyard to turn the Beatrice or the Dante into the Beatrice. And in my personal opinion, I feel that Beatrice with Farfa under it is more powerful. It's probably one of the most powerful Burning Abyss or Beatrice combos you can make. End phase will gain Skarm's effect to add Tour Guide from our deck to our hand. It's one of the most powerful things you can do because now you have a Beatrice that can send Farfa directly from its attachments, and you don't have to worry about the monster that you send from your deck to your graveyard. You're pretty much free to send that Fairy Tale Snow to the graveyard immediately and still banish a card on your opponent's side of the field. It's really, really, really powerful. I just think that that's a really powerful test hand, ladies and gentlemen. The next test hand. Sorry if I ain't talking, I was just kind of weird. But the next test hand is going to be a, hopefully more or less of the same. This Burning Abyss concept, or this Burning Abyss deck is really fun. It's really powerful. It's insanely just great to play. I'm going to start off with 5 more cards. Orbital Hydrolander, Barbar, Droll and Lockbird, Fiendish Royal Rhino. All right, so this isn't the best of hands. I think that instead of the Droll and Lockbird, it would have been better to have any Burning Abyss monster. Our 6 card would have been Fairy Tale Snow, which is actually not that bad because we're going to normal summon the Fiendish Royal Rhino, special summon the Barbar, use these 2 monsters for an Exceed summon into Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss, use Dante to send Fiendish Royal Rhino, sending Fairy Tale Snow, Farfa, and Ghost Ogre to the graveyard, and then using Fiendish Royal Rhino's effect to send a Fiend monster from our deck to the graveyard. It's going to be Skarm, ladies and gentlemen. And now that we have 5 monsters with different names, you guys would have guessed it, we're going to summon Orbital Hydrolander to our side of the field, and on the end phase, use that Skarm Search to get Tour Guide from our deck to our hand. So even in the not so greatest of the hands, we have Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard, Skarm, Farfa, Ghost Ogre, and we have enough to summon an Orbital Hydrolander, which is 1 destruction. We also have Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. It would have been really nice to have one of these Jolting Lockbirds be another Burning Abyss monster, so we can have Beatrice Orbital Hydrolander. That would have been really good. But still, we have quite a bit of disruption, and even if we do send in a duplicate card through the effects of Orbital Hydrolander, you can actually chain Fairy Tale Snow to banish your extra card and some other cards on the field to disrupt your opponent. Not to mention that if you don't really want to destroy it, you still have Droll and Lockbird for disruption. The last test stand that I'm going to show you guys, because again, this deck is still really good. It doesn't really matter what you do. You can't do no wrong with the Burning Abyss, ladies and gentlemen. And I know I haven't done test stands in a really long time. I'm actually really excited to show you guys the live duel as well. It's going to be really fun. It actually was against TJ put together this insane Burning Abyss Dark World deck, and I'm excited to show you guys. It was really, really fun to play. We're going to start off with Farfa, Dark Arm Dragon, Alec, and another Burning Abyss, as well as a tour guide from the Underworld. There are actually so many ways we can do this hand. And our 6th card would have actually been Fiendish Rhino Warrior. I'm going to start off by normal summoning the tour guide to summon the Fiendish Rhino Warrior to our side of the field, and then use both of these monsters for an Exceed summon into Dante, Traveler of the Burning Abyss. Dante's effect to send the Fiendish Rhino Warrior to send 3 cards from our deck to my graveyard. Oh my! That is lovely. And then Rhino Warrior's other effect to send from the deck to the graveyard, Graf, Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. Now, Graf's effect is going to go ahead and special summon the pig to my side of the field. Where is that piggy? Here, piggy, 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 piggy. Here, piggy, 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 piggy. There we go. And we are on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be insane. Like, let's say, hypothetically, if I'm going second, I'm summoning Dark Arm Dragon, and I'm ruining my opponent's life. There's, like, not much else to say about that other than, yes, your life is going to be ruined. I'm going to use Dante and the pig for a link summon into my Underclock Taker, triggering both of my monsters' effects. Dante to add from my graveyard to my hand the Graf or the pig. Actually, we're just going to go ahead and add the pig. It doesn't matter. And then we're going to special summon the Dante back to our side of the field. Right here, right now, we actually have 3 dark monsters to summon Dark Arm Dragon. If we were going second, you have 1, 2, and 3. Dark Arm Dragon would literally decimate your opponent, being able to destroy 3 cards on your opponent's side of the field. But we actually can take this a little further. I'm going to use the Libic to make the Dante into a Beatrice, and then trigger Libic's effect to special summon Alec to our side of the field, and then use both of these monsters for a link summon into our Underclock Taker, or a Deco Talker, assuming that we are going second. Or, I'm sorry, assuming that we are going first, we're not going to go ahead and summon the Dark Arm Dragon. And now we have, under Deco Talker, with a Beatrice, we can banish Destiny Hero Malicious to summon another copy of Destiny Hero Malicious from our decks. And now we have a Deco Talker pointing to a Destiny Hero Malicious, ladies and gentlemen, which if you didn't know, that's pretty powerful because Beatrice can now no longer be targeted unless they get over the Destiny Hero Malicious first. Coincidentally, you could have kept the Underclock Taker and the Burning Abyss monster on your side of the field, and if you felt more comfortable, you could have used all 3 of these monsters for a link summon of your Borlo Dragon, which is just a untargetable 3000 beat stick. And for the people that are like, oh, now you have too many monsters for your Dark Arm Dragon, that's actually not true, because Beatrice will send the Dante. Dante will add a Burning Abyss monster from our graveyard to our hand. I would add Graf this time around. And then Beatrice would also be able to send another monster from our deck to our graveyard, known as Fairy Tale Snow, which could help us manipulate the graveyard however we please to get 3 dark monsters to just 3 dark monsters in our graveyard to be able to summon Dark Arm Dragon to our side of the field. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a like, and I can't wait to show you guys the live duel. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy. I hope you guys are having a great day like I am. I didn't even get to use the Sekka's Light. That's like insane.